Hey, good morning. It's Tuesday, March 8th. Thanks so much for being here today. I'm going to start a new series of videos on being vulnerable because when we understand vulnerability appropriately, that's our greatest place of safety and strength and security. I know that sounds really off because we spend so much time and energy, emotional energy, in trying to protect ourselves from being vulnerable. So the question I want to raise is not the fact that we're vulnerable. Everyone is vulnerable. That's one of the greatest frustrations of human life. We're both finite and we're flawed. And everybody we know is finite and flawed. That means that they have weaknesses, they have limitations. We can make a promise, but we don't necessarily have the strength or the will or the power to keep the promise. So we feel doubt in a human promise. When someone is not kind to us, we feel very vulnerable to them. And it creates all sorts of internal struggles inside. Because we don't want to be controlled by another person. You want to give control of your emotions, your heart, if you will, the keys to your emotional well-being to someone else. We want to protect ourselves from that. But there's only one source of protection, and that's in being vulnerable. Not vulnerable to other people, but realizing our vulnerability before God. Being vulnerable before God is the place of safety. As I said, I'm going to spend a couple of videos working through this because it's such an important topic for us. And one of the best ways to grasp a concept like this is to look at the Bible stories, the rich narratives that are there, stories of life that really do impact us, that show us what it means to walk after God and to follow Him. In this case, what it means to walk after God in a heart of vulnerability, of true hope, of true peace. One of the best places I can think of to do that is to look at the story of Ruth. Her mother-in-law, Naomi, has come with her husband to Moab. Her husband, Elimelech, did not trust God, went to someplace else for safety instead of staying and trusting God in Israel. Things don't go well. First, Naomi's husband dies. Her two sons marry, and then both of them are dead. So here is Naomi left with these two girls, her daughters-in-law. Naomi determines she needs to go back to Israel. So she prepares to leave, and she urges her daughters-in-laws to stay safe in Moab, where they won't be vulnerable. Because think of it, they're going to take this journey back across the wilderness, back to Israel, and the only protection is this old woman. Certainly not the ability to fight anything off. One daughter-in-law leaves, but the second daughter-in-law, Ruth, clings to Naomi and to her faith. This is what she says after Naomi urges her to go back to Moab. Ruth replied, "Do not urge me to leave or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if anything but death separates you and me." When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. Ruth leaves a place of relative security and safety to take this treacherous journey with this old woman who can in no way protect her physically, has no wealth. The only thing that Ruth sees in Naomi is this faith in God. So Ruth chooses to make herself vulnerable in every way imaginable. No armed guards, no security, no 911 to call. Just two women on this road of foolhardiness in terms of looking at it from the world's perspective. But Ruth made herself vulnerable because she believed in the God of Naomi and believed in her mother-in-law. And making herself vulnerable was her path to safety and peace and security. If our faith is oriented towards God, everything around us may look really crazy, but if it's a step of faith that is based upon the truths of His Word, and Ruth bought in to this idea of the covenant God that she had seen from lived out in Naomi's life, even with all the flaws and the struggles, and she bet her life on it. She was vulnerable, not to the people, but to God. And that's the key to vulnerability. Being vulnerable before God. That's where safety lies. We'll continue to look at Ruth and continue to look at that the next couple of days, because that is our place of safety, and it's a good place to be. Thanks so much for being here. Check us out, everydaytalk247.com. Turn on post notifications if you haven't. Read the story of Ruth, and next time we'll see more about this beauty of safety and vulnerability. See you soon. Bye-bye.